Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to show you guys the process I go through on setting up a hornady O.A.L gauge in a modified case. So we're just going to be making a modified case. Figured I'd show you guys that real quick. So yeah, we're going to be going through that process. It's not too hard. You got to go on Amazon and buy let's see here, it is the 5/16 by 36 tap and die set, and most of them are just a cheap most of them are just a cheap Chinese set. This one's worked good. I've done 4 or 5 cases now. This will be my probably 6th case. So yeah, they work good. So yeah, I'm just going to be running you through that process real quick. So first thing I do to make a modified case is pop out the primer. That will be your very first step. Because you can't obviously have a spent primer in there. Alright, so you need to pop out your primer, because you can't make a modified case with a primer in it. Now I recommend using not a full length sizing die, because you need the case mouth to accept a bullet freely. So you don't want to full length size this, you just want to pop the primer. So use a universal decapping die and it will make your life much easier. So there you go. Pop up the primer, and we got the next steps coming right up. Alright guys, a few things that's going to help make this process easier for a modified case is going to be a vise of some sort that has, you know, not metal jaws. You got to have soft jaws in there, because if you squeeze the case, you're screwed and you got to start over. Now I'm using a drill press. I've done several by just a regular vise and a drill, you know, a cordless drill. But I got the drill press, works better, so I'm going to use it. But if you use just a vise and hand drill it with a cordless, just make sure the case is level in the vise, and make sure you're putting straight downward pressure, drilling out the center straight of the primer pocket. And that, you know, as long as you do that, doesn't matter if you have a drill press or not, it will work perfectly. Like I said, I've done 2 now in a just with the regular cordless, and I've done this will be my 3rd or 4th with the drill press. It just works a little quicker, faster in the drill press. But so another thing, like I said, there's a couple things that makes this a lot easier. That is soft jaws, cutting fluid, and a tap holder. So those 3 things will make your process a lot easier. Now you guys can do it whatever, you know, however you want. You can pull it off many different ways, but I just noticed I've screwed up several of them, and I noticed the ones that, you know, failed, I didn't do this. Alright, let's get a little bit of cutting fluid on it. Go in easy. chattering. Well, it's gonna chatter, but start chattering, get a little more oil. Don't make one straight plunge, because you will mess it up. Clean it out really nice, and there you go. There's your drilling. Alright, now we just got to tap this thing. So one thing I didn't mention before, the kit comes with the Amazon kit that you use to make a modified case. It does come with the drill bit, and it comes with the tap, obviously. You're good to go. You guys just saw me use the drill bit out of that. It is a cheap Chinese kit, but it's a pretty sharp drill bit. Now there's several on Amazon you can use, but so some might be worse than others. I'll put in the brand name in the description, but this one has worked great. Now one thing I didn't mention also is this has to be a fire form piece of brass. That's why you don't want to full length size it. So fire it in your gun, and then use a universal decapping die to take the primer out. Don't resize, full length resize. So this is our modified case. We decapped it and drilled out the primer pocket, as you guys just saw. And now let's get tapping it. Alright, so you want, like I said, one of the things to make it easier is cutting fluid. So I use it for drilling the primer pocket out, and I use it for tapping. Use it for both, because I'll tell you, I've ruined two, and it was because I didn't use cutting fluid. Now this don't have to be extremely level, but as you can see, I'm just using a cheap level to make sure the top of the case is level. As level as much as you can, and then put a little cutting fluid, cutting oil on your tap, and begin. Now the best way to do this is look straight down on top of the case and your tap, and start like that. And make sure have the case down in there as far as you can too, because if you squeeze the jaws too tight, you're going to crush the case. Now I have soft jaws in these as well, so you should be good, but where the jaws are hitting, make sure it's at the web of the case. That way you don't crush it as easy. So yeah, look straight down on top of it and start tapping. Start spinning it slowly, as straight as you can. Apply a little bit more cutting oil. Back out your chips a little bit. Go in again. Back out your chips. Go in a little more. And just keep doing that. Kind of like the drill, go in a little bit at a time, and then just plunge. If you have to tighten up your press, or your vise, that's fine. Don't go too hard because you will snap these. Taps. So if it's starting to bind up on you, back it out just a little bit, or back it all the way out if you need to. Now you have to go all the way with this. You have to go quite a ways in, because if you don't, it won't bottom out on the O.A.L gauge. There. That might be far enough. Let's check. Okay, so let's try that O.A.L gauge. I don't think I got it deep enough, but we'll try. Nope, right there. That's as far as it goes. See, and I need it to come to a hard stop against that O.A.L gauge, so I got to go a little bit further. You guys will see that lip. You just need it to come to a hard stop against the hornady O.A.L gauge. So I got to go in a little bit more. Oop, oop, oop. Now when you start it back in, make sure you're chasing back the other threads. It's going to go in easy for quite a while because you got to get to where you were. Right there. So a little bit more. Oh, gotta tighten up the. And you'll eventually break through. You'll eventually break through the other side where it starts getting easier. Clear out the chips. Take another plunge. Oh, I think I'm through. It's going easier now. Yeah, see, so you'll eventually go through to the other side where you can just pretty much, you'll get through the whole primer pocket, and you'll be able to just, twist it with your finger, and you're good to go. I suggest going in, most of the way through the tap. That way it cuts the threads, because a lot of times, especially with like these cheap Chinese ones on the tap, the upper part of the tap are nice and sharp, and so you'll cut threads better if you use the whole tap instead of just the tip. Plus, the more you use it, the more you dull the beginning, the beginning of the tap. So there you go, and as long as and it don't have to be dead straight. You'll see the case will wobble a teeny bit. You got to have it as straight as you can, because if you get it too far off, then the gauge will be cockeyed and you won't be able to get it, down the chamber or down the action and put the bullet into the chamber, because it will be cockeyed too much. There we go. Clean off your tap. Keep it oiled. Wipe off your tap. Get all the brass shavings off it. And then when you put it back into the plastic sleeves it comes in, soak it in cutting fluid and oil, or motor oil. Like I said, you can use whatever you guys want. This isn't a hard job. I know a lot of people say it's a pain in the ass, but I've, like I said, this is my 6th case. Trust me, it starts, once you learn the tricks, it gets easier, I guess, because I ruined my first 3 cases, but after I got one good one, and then my second one, after my second, I started implementing all the tips. Like the first few, I didn't use cutting fluid, I didn't use a soft jaw chuck, and one I kind of warped from crushing it. Another one I just couldn't bottom this thing out because I wasn't using cutting fluid. So there's a bunch of tricks. So soft jaw chuck, cutting fluid, and a nice tap handle, and you guys can do it no problem. Now this kit, this tap and die, or this tap and drill bit set is really cheap. It's like 15 bucks. I recommend getting maybe the $20 one. I think this one's the 18 or 19.99 one, because it did come with a little bit better drill bit. It looks like, and it had okay reviews. So like I said, this is my 6th case, and it's still pretty sharp, and you should be able to take this, oh hold on, clean out the threads really good, blow it out, and then just take your O.A.L gauge and spin it in. Now you see how it's wobbling a little bit? Looks like a lot. It is a little bit, but that's just because I didn't get it super straight. And that's what I mean by you don't need it extremely straight, as long as you, that's enough wobble, because you can still get this in there. Now if it's cockeyed quite a ways, then no, you're going to have too much of a bow to be able to get this in the chamber, and this in the chamber, and this down the action. So as long as you get it as straight as you can, and even if there's a little bit of wobble, you're good to go. That's how I tap my cases to make a modified case. You know, once you have a tapped case for, or once you have a modified case for all your calibers, then you can get easy overall length for every single bullet you buy for reloading. I did it on the drill press, but you can do it just as easy, all 2 steps, you know, right on this vise with just a cordless drill. So once you have all your cases modified for all your calibers, you can just get a quick overall length for all your bullets, because you have to get an overall length for every bullet you buy to reload. It's not universal. You can't get an ELDM and then buy an ELDX and expect to touch the lands in the same exact spot. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you a quick demonstration on how to create your own modified case. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you guys can, please subscribe, like, share. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of it. And thank you very much. Also, guys, one thing I wanted to add about the modified case is if you don't have a set of soft jaws, you can put, you can wrap something around the web of the case and try to, your goal is to just not try and crush this. That's why I say come up about here, because you don't want to crush this end and you don't want to crush the very back. If you dent in a little bit down here a little bit, it's okay, because you're seating a bullet out further. So the whole point of these modified cases is to check your overall length, obviously. But once you have it on the gauge, your threads stop there, and your bullet, and this is why I say don't full length 3 sides, because if you do, you ain't going to be able to get the bullet in. Take and sink the bullet all the way, you know, so the tip is just barely sticking out. Push the gray rod in a little bit so it bumps the bullet, and lock it down. Lock it down right there, and then you insert this into your chamber, unlock the rod, and just push the bullet into the lands and grooves, and it will stop wherever it stops. Wherever it does stop, you just pull this back out. Now the bullet may be stuck into the lands. You just take a cleaning rod and tap it out, or tip your gun, straight up and down, and just bump the butt pad on something hard, and the bullet will just fall right out. And so make sure you got this locked down to where it stopped on the lands, and then put your bullet back in, and then you just take that overall measurement. So yeah, that's basically it. The kit worked good. I recommend not skimping completely out, and buy the mid-range one. I wouldn't go for that $10 one, but and you're good to go. And like I said, once you do this for every caliber, I got one for my .308, got one for my 6.5, and now I got one for .223. So that's all you gotta do. So that's it, guys. I will see you in the next one.